Hi, I'm Shannon McGee with Network in Action in Music City and the surrounding areas. And today I have Rich Kurkowski with Insight Advisors. Thanks for joining me today, Rich.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
So tell me your story. How did you get started doing what you're doing and how do you serve your clients?
Yeah, I appreciate you letting me tell the story. So, if I would almost take you back to kind of where I started my career. So, I started out as an accountant, spent first few years of my career there, and then I went into law. So, first 15 years of my career were working at very large professional service firms, and then eventually a Fortune 500 company before becoming an entrepreneur. And I tell you that because when I first became an entrepreneur, I thought it was going to be really easy. I thought, how hard can it be? Run a small business. I've got a handle on some of these things. And where I found myself was 2 years in. My first business was an upscale men's barber shop, and having to sit down and tell the manager that business we were closing down at the end of the week. And it was probably my lowest point as an entrepreneur, but the hardest part for someone who does what I do now. So now I help other businesses run on a particular framework called EOS. Well, a year before I shut that business down, a mentor of mine had told me, Rich, you really have to read this book called Traction, and you should be running your business on EOS. And I listened to him enough that I bought it, and then I stuck it on my shelf, and it sat there collecting dust for the next 6 months. And then, I brought it down and I read it, and I was like, oh, this is great. Like, I see what he was talking about. But then I got busy with other things and we didn't really implement any of it. And 6 months later, we shut the business down. So I learned the lesson really the hard way of how not to run a business. And I was fortunate to have a second chance. So I had a second business, which was a commercial cleaning company. And that's when I actually got serious about implementing these tools and, using proven frameworks instead of trying to do it on my own. And that business quickly grew. So grew it to the point where I had over 50 people out in the field servicing 150 clients. We crossed the 7-figure revenue point. And I drink in the Kool-Aid on EOS so much by that point that I sold that business, decided to sell it to do what I do now, and basically just helping other companies run on EOS. That's what I've been doing the last few years. And I love what I'm doing and get to make an impact in people's lives every day.
What I love about it is I love, the proven systems. Our franchise has a proven system and a proven track record and kind of the business in a box franchise model is one of the things that appealed to me. Why recreate the wheel? And as entrepreneurs are growing companies, they're passionate, but there's so many things they have to deal with that they don't realize as they're building the business. So having a system that works, but having a guide that can help them through that transformation is so much more important than they realize. So I'm sure you have some pretty fun, business transformation stories. Is there a favorite that kind of sticks out?
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, one of the first clients I started working with when I got into it, and we're still working together today, but seeing him going from being heavily involved in the day to day and dealing with all these people issues and trying to figure it out to now he spends a couple months a year traveling. He's got an RV and goes around the country with his wife, and he's got his number two in the company who's able to run the office and manage the team. So yeah, every time I talk to him and just kind of find out what he's doing and how he's enjoying life is always awesome.
That's amazing because I talk to a lot of owners, operators, and it's not uncommon that they're borderline burnout. They're definitely stressed. They're definitely like, this isn't why I started my business. But someone's got to do it, right? And
Yeah.
so taking those baby steps on where to get started. Sometimes they just see there's so many steps to take, they don't know how to get started. So having a partner like you is pretty cool. And that story of work-life balance, I think will speak to a lot of folks. So Rich, if someone wanted to get a hold of you, what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, easiest way is just give me a phone call. So my phone number is 312-282-5370. Or you can email me, and it's Rich at Insight Advisors. So that's INSYTEADVISORS.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks for spending time with me today, Rich. I enjoyed hearing your story and look forward to continuing to work together.
Thank you.